Hello, welcome to our series of videos where we solve the questions in the WASSCE 2020 Dec Core Math Paper 1. This is the third video in the series, and in this video, we solve questions 21 to 30. Question 21 says, a man borrowed $50 from a bank and paid back an amount of $75 after 3 years. At what rate was a simple interest charged? Right? So we first note that our principal, which is the amount that he borrowed, was $50. And then the amount that he paid back was $75. So to find the interest, we find the difference between these two numbers. The interest is 75 minus 50, which is $25. Now we are told that this interest is simple interest. So we are supposed to find the rate at which the simple interest was charged. The formula for simple interest is the principal times the rate times the time. So this principal times rate times time equals 25. Let's substitute the values we have into it and see what we get. The principal is 50. The rate is what we don't know. The time is 3 years. So we have that. Solving for r, we get r equals 25 over 50 times 3. And canceling, 25 goes here, 1 goes here, 2. We get 1 over 2 times 3, which is 1 over 6 as the rate. Now, expressing 1 over 6 as a percentage, what do we get? 1 over 6 times 100%. That's equal to 16 2/3%. So that gives us A as our answer. The next problem is 22. It says calculate the mean deviation of 650,832. To get the mean deviation, we first need to find the mean. So what's the mean of these numbers? We find the sum, 6 plus 5, 11 plus 8, 19 plus 3, 22 plus 2, 24. And then we divide by how many numbers there are. There are 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 24 over 6, that gives us a 4. We want the mean deviation. So we can draw a table to help us, where we now have the numbers, and then for each of the numbers we are going to find the absolute value of the deviation of that number from the mean. So when we have 6, we now have 6 minus the mean, which is 4. So 6 minus 4, which is 2, and the absolute value of that is 2. Then we have 5. We do the same thing. 5 minus 4 is 1. The absolute value of that is 1. We have 0. 0 minus 4 is minus 4. The absolute value of that is 4. Then we have 8. The difference is 4. We have 3. The difference is 1. And then we have 2. The difference is 2. So these are the deviations, and we want to find the mean of these deviations. So again, we add the numbers. 2 plus 1 plus 4. 2 plus 1 plus 4. 2 plus 1 plus 4 is 7. So we have 14 over 6 as the mean deviation. And 14 over 6 equals 2 remainder 2 over 6. This is equal to 2 1/3. 2 1/3 is 2.3333 because 1/3 is 0.33 recurring. The next problem is 23. It says calculate the height of a pyramid with a rectangular base 16 centimeters by 12 centimeters and volume 1152 cubic centimeters. We know that the formula for the volume, we are supposed to know this. The formula for the volume is 1/3 times the area of the base times the perpendicular height. So we substitute the values we have into this and find the one we don't have. The volume is 1152. And we have 1/3. The area of the base is this 16 centimeters by 12 centimeters. So we have 1/3 times 16 times 12, and then we have the h. Now solving this for h, we can use our calculator to do this, but let's see if we can do it by hand. 1152 times 3 over 16 times 12. So we can cancel out 3 here, 1, 3 here, 4, 4 here, 1, 4 here. What does that give us? We have 2, 8, 8. So we have 288 over 16. What do we get when we divide 288 by 16? Well, 16 goes into 28, 1, remainder 12. So you have 128, and 16 goes into 128 8 times. So that gives us our answer as 18. The next problem is question 24. We have a preamble. It says in the diagram, O is the center of the circle. RP, which is labeled here, is 13 centimeters and QR is 12 centimeters. Use the information to answer questions 24 and 25. Question 24 says we should calculate PQ, which is this length. Now the key insight here is that this angle is a right angle. And one reason for that is that this is a triangle inscribed in a semicircle. The triangles inscribed in semicircles are right angle triangles. Another way to think of it, which is equivalent, is to notice that this angle is 180 degrees. So if you use the circle theorem, that says that if you have an arc subtending an angle at the center and at the circumference, the measure of the angle at the center is twice the measure of the angle at the circumference. So because this angle is 180, this angle must be 90. So we have a right angle triangle. Let me redraw this triangle. The hypotenuse of this triangle is 13 centimeters and one of the legs is 12. So we now have to find this leg. Now this triangle is so famous that you're supposed to know it. You can call it the 5, 12, 13 triangle. If you have a right angle triangle and one of the legs has a length of 12 and the hypotenuse is 13, the other leg must automatically be 5. So if we know this fact, then we know that our answer is 5. But if we don't know this fact, we can still use Pythagoras theorem. If we call this length we don't know x, then by Pythagoras theorem, 12 squared plus x squared equals 13 squared. 12 squared is 144 plus x squared. 13 squared is 169. So we have x squared equals 169 minus 144. That's 25. If x squared is 25, then x equals 5. Alright, the next problem is question 25. It says find the area of the shaded region. Now this is the shaded region, the triangle. So we can use the triangle we drew in the previous problem. If we bring this triangle down, we can use it to solve this problem because we've already found the length we didn't know. So we have that, we have that, we have 5, we have 13, we have 12. What is the area of this triangle? We use the formula half times the base, which is 5, times the height, which is 12. 5, 12, 60, half of that is 30. So that's the area of the triangle D. The next problem is question 26. It says a storekeeper marks his goods at 25% above the cost price but gives a discount of 10% on their bill. What is the net profit percent? Now if we assume that the cost price is C, then the storekeeper marking his goods at 25% above the cost price means that after marking his goods up by 25%, the new price is going to be 1.25 times C. because 1.25C is the number that is 25% more than C. But we also told that after increasing the price by 25%, he also gives a discount of 10% on the bill. That means that what customers end up paying is only 90%. That's 0.9 times this 1.25C. So what is this number? We can do a quick calculation. 125 times 9. Of course, you can use your calculator. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 4, 22. So we have a 2919 plus 2, that's 11. So 1125. We place the decimal point at the right place. How do we know where to put it? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 3 numbers after the decimal point. So 1, 2, 3, that's the right place to put it. So this gives us 1.125C. Now the question is, what is the net profit percent? The final price that customers end up paying is this number. So we have to find the difference between this number and the cost price, and then find the percentage of the cost price that it is. The difference is 0.125C. So we now have to divide this by that, and that gives us 0.125 over 1 times 100%. And what does that give us? It gives us 12.5%. So the answer is B. The next problem is 27. We have parallel lines. These two lines are parallel to each other. And then we have a transversal. And then we have some angles. This angle is X. We are supposed to find the value of X. One way to do this is to notice that these two angles, because they are vertically opposite angles, this angle must also be X. In that case, you have this X, this being X, and this being 2X. And these are consecutive interior angles, so their sum must be 180 degrees. So we have 2X plus X equals 180 degrees. That gives us 3X equals 180 degrees. That gives us X equals 60 degrees. So our answer is D. Another way to look at this is to notice that is to notice that this angle X and this angle are corresponding angles. So if this is X, then this is also X. And then now we have two angles that lie on a straight line. So you have X plus 2X being on a straight line. That means that their sum should again be 180. And if you now solve for X, you get X being equal to 60. The next problem is question 28. It says if the square of 3p plus q equals x, express p in terms of x and q. Now we can take the square root of both sides. When we do that, we get 3p plus q equals the square root of x. We now subtract q from both sides. That gives us 3p equals the square root of x minus q. We now divide both sides by 3. We get p equals the square root of x minus q all over 3. So that gives us our answer as A. The next problem is 29. It says the total surface area of a cylindrical solid is 4752 squared centimeters. If its base diameter is 28 centimeters, find the height. And we are given pi as 22 over 7. We can draw a sketch. We have this cylindrical solid. And we have the height there. And then we have the base. We can draw this. So this is the height, it's h. This is the diameter of the base. This is 28 cm. That's this one. So we can spread out this cylinder so we can see things better. When we do that, we have this, and then we have the circles on both ends. So this again is 28, as we've already sketched. 28. This is going to be the height, and then this length is going to be the circumference, is going to be the same as the circumference of this circle. So that's the trick, or that's the idea we need in this problem. The total surface area of the cylinder is going to be the area of this rectangle plus the area of these two circles, and we're told that that is equal to 4,752. So let's write the expression for the total surface area and see what we get. Let's start first by finding the circumference of the circle so that we can get this length. Now the circumference of the circle is pi d, or 2 pi r. So using pi d, we have 22 over 7 times 28, which is the diameter. That's pi d. If you multiply that by the height, so this times h, that gives you the area of this rectangle. And then you also want to add the areas of these two circles, this one and that one. You can use pi d squared over 4 or pi r squared. So using pi r squared, again, we have 22 over 7 times r. If the diameter is 28, then r is 14. So r squared is 14 times 14. And then we have two circles, so we have to multiply this number by 2. Now, we are told that this quantity is equal to 4752. 4752. So we have to solve for h in this expression. We can use our calculator to help us, but we can also try to do it by hand. So let's try to do it by hand and see what happens. We have 22 over 7 here, 22 over 7 here. We have 28 here. We have 28 is 14 times 2. So we have 28 here, 28 here. So we can factorize that out. We get 22 over 7 times 28 into h plus, when you take the 22 over 7 and the 28 away, you have h plus 14, and that is equal to 4752. So now we have to divide both sides by 22 over 7 times 28. So in particular, this 4752 has to be divided by 22 over 7 times 28. So let's do that. 4752 over 22 over 7 times 28. Now let's simplify the denominator. 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 4. So we have 4752 over 22 times 4. Now we can divide 4752 by 4. So 4 goes here 1, and 4 goes here 1, 1. We have remainder 3, 35. 4 goes into 35, 8, remainder 3. 4 goes into 32, 8. So we have 1188 over 22. And what's 1188 over 22? We know that 22 times 5 is 110. So we can cancel 22 from here. You get 1. 22 times 5 is 110. So when you subtract the 110 from the 118, you have 8. And 22 divides 88 4 times. So this gives us 54. That means that we have, this implies that h plus 14 equals 54. Now if h plus 14 equals 54, then h equals 40. So our answer is D. The next problem is question 30. It says two vertical poles PQ and XY are 3 meters and 5 meters high respectively. If they are 10 meters apart on the same horizontal level, calculate the angle of elevation of the top of XY from the top of PQ. So we have one pole, a shorter one, we have another pole, a longer one, and then we have the ground. You can think of this as the ground, the distance between these two poles. So from here to here, we are told is 10 meters. Now this the shorter pole is PQ, so PQ, this is 3 meters, 3m, and then the longer pole or the taller pole is XY, which is 5 meters. And we are supposed to find the angle of elevation from here to here. So if you do this, and then you can draw some imaginary line here. This angle is 90 degrees, just like this angle. We are looking for this angle of elevation, theta. Now, because these two are parallel, this 3 and this 5, this height is going to be 2 meters. So we now have this base being 10 meters and then this height being 2 meters. We can bring out this triangle so that it's maybe a bit easier to see. We have this right angle triangle. We are looking for this angle theta. This height is 2 meters and this length is 10 meters. So we can find the tangent of theta equals the opposite over the adjacent, which is 2 over 10. 2 over 10 is equal to 1 over 5. So we are looking for the angle whose tangent is 1 over 5. And you can punch this into your calculator to find theta, and you're going to see that theta is equal to 11.3 degrees. This brings us to the end of this video where we've solved questions 21 to 30. We're going to solve the remaining questions in subsequent videos. See you then. Bye.